back to part 2 of this refining series, and we used ferrous sulfate to get the gold out of here. We're going to do a status test, make sure all the gold has in fact been precipitated. As you can see by that negative status test, all the gold has come down. I made an excess amount of ferrous sulfate, and so what I'm doing is just adding it to these bottles, and I'll save it for a future video. But what I would like to do is talk a little bit about in the first video I incorrectly typed the wrong constant when I was calculating the amount of silver to add. I typed the constant for 10K gold is 0.635, and I typed 1.635, and just wanted to clear that up. The constant for 10K is 0.635, not 1.635. And the result there is I added too much silver to the gold for the importation. But that's okay. I mean, I seen a little bit of gold suspending when I was doing the nitric oils, and that's the only result of having too much silver in there. I got the Karat down too low, below 25%, and then some of the gold starts to crumble apart instead of hold together nicely like we want it to. So I just wanted to clear that up from part 1. The advantage of ferrous sulfate as a precipitant is that it will precipitate only the gold and leave everything else in solution. And so it's good for precipitating gold when you suspect other metals are present. The disadvantage is it's very bulky with a lot of excess waste here. It's going to have to be processed and poured off, but that's okay. I'd rather use the ferrous sulfate to get all the gold and just the gold to drop. And also the disadvantage is having to prepare the solution to precipitate it. You got to heat it, you got to acidify it with hydrochloric acid, and filter it before you can add it to the gold solution. SMB, you just put spoons in, precipitate the gold, and you're done. All right, here's our pure gold down in the bottom of our beaker. Now what we'll do is rinse the gold over and over with some hot distilled water. We'll do this initial rinse with just some cold distilled water and try to get all that iron rinsed off of there. May try to suspend on us a little bit. I've got some water heating up, and we'll use some hot water to get the rest of this ferrous sulfate rinsed off of this gold as soon as it gets done heating. Now what we'll do is just rinse it over and over with some hot water until we get all this ferrous sulfate rinsed off of here. Another disadvantage of ferrous sulfate is it takes many rinses to get all the iron off of there. That gold looks mighty fine to me. And what we may try to do, test our luck, and just do a single refining on this and melt the gold just like it is after one precipitation with our ferrous sulfate. Here's our gold down in there, man. It looks spectacular. Gonna rinse all the sides down real good. Pour this rinse off now. And now what I'll do is I'm going to add some hydrochloric acid. Just a little bit. And we'll put this up on the heat now. Boil the gold in a little hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid does a better job of getting dissolved metals such as iron off the gold than just plain water does. So let's put it in the put it on some heat, give it a boil, and we'll go from there. Alright, we got a little aggressive with the heat and spattered the gold a little bit. That's okay. I don't think we lost anything out of the beaker. Now what we'll do is just go ahead and rinse the sides down here. Here you can see the liquid in there has a yellow tint to it. And that's the advantage of using hydrochloric acid to boil it in, because the hydrochloric acid does a better job at getting out the dissolved metals than just plain water. Got some hot water here, and what we'll do is rinse it over and over until we get all that rinsed off of there. We've got the gold cleaned up good enough now. Single refining using ferrous sulfate. Let's go ahead and transfer this to a melt dish down here. Let's get that going Here's our once single refined pure gold powder using ferrous sulfate. Let's go ahead and try to melt this up to a bar now. Here we go. Tell by the way this gold is melted, it's got some contamination in it. You can tell a lot about the purity of the gold or how it looks after you melt it. I'm having some flux here, some borax. Good for this. And actually, it does not look that bad. Got a little bit of junk that settled on the surface there. Came out better than I thought it was going to. Looks pretty good. Not bad, I can see myself. Okay, before we look at our bar that we just melted, I'm going to feature this item and offer it for sale. It's got 2mm diamonds all the way around it. It's a lion's head ring with a synthetic ruby in the lion's mouth. The size on this ring is about 9 3/4. I've got it all cleaned up, buffed up, and ready to ship. It says 10K in here. If I can find it. 10K in there. And let's see what the weight on this thing is. Got 9.8 grams of 10K with diamonds around a lion head. It's a very nice ring. Well, it was too nice to scrap it out, so we'll offer this for sale on the eBay site as a featured item for this video. Here's our pure gold bar. And like I said earlier, you can tell a lot about the purity of the gold by how it looks after we melt it. It's got a little bit of something on the surface there, a little bit of contamination. But overall, this thing came out really good for a single refining. I would normally run it back through and do a double refine and then to guarantee that it was 3 9s. But this is probably 3 9s gold. And let's see, we were expecting 114 grams of pure gold. And what's our actual yield here? Holy cow, 114.3, almost dead on. So that's a pretty good estimate. When we calculated what our yield was going to be. Alrighty. This will conclude the video. Part 2 of the gold bar refine. Thank you for watching.